Welcome to the Backlash at Backlash.com. My name is Rod Van Mecklin, and in this video I'm going to read from my 1992 article, Equal Rights Are Not Equal to Equal Outcomes. The full article is linked below. Starting with a quote, "What the sameness standard fails to notice is that men's differences from women are equal to women's differences from men. There is an equality there," close quote. That was from Catherine A. McKinnon, second wave feminist, in one of her early books, Feminism Unmodified. I included that quote because for much of her career she focused on vilifying men, turning masculinity into a crime, including groundbreaking work on the concept of hostile environment sexual harassment that Anita Hill used against Justice Clarence Thomas. And yet here in one of her earliest works, she admits a fundamental truth about women and men. 1992, Bellevue, Washington. Equal rights are no guarantee of equal opportunity. Thus, how men extend equal rights seems oppressive to many women. Relying on this perception of oppression, feminists confuse equality, that is, equal outcomes, and equal opportunity with equal rights, and use the law and the courts to stack the deck in their favor in the name of equality. In the process, they violate men's rights because in society there is generally no such thing as absolute equality, only equal rights. My Random House College dictionary defines equality as, quote, the state or quality of being equal, close quote, and equal as, quote, of the same in quantity, degree, merit, etc., close quote. These definitions confirm what most of us already know. Nobody is really equal to anybody else. Our aptitudes, abilities, and special differences preclude the possibility, and any attempt to enforce anything other than equal rights leads only to the lowest common denominator, where genius is gutted and prosperity is reduced to poverty. Understanding this, we understand both the goal and the flaw of the feminists' public agenda, to obtain sameness in quantity and degree without merit. Note, in 1992, you're going to find this hard to believe, but in 1992, that was a groundbreaking observation. Today, reality has gone much further to expose that the feminist agenda is truly about domination, not equality. Continuing, feminists complain because men as a demographic make more money than women do. To them, this is unfair because it's unequal. So they demand affirmative action to change that. Yet, men work more hours and more years in the paid labor force than women do. Productivity and perseverance, not discrimination, cause men to earn more. Thus, there are only two ways most women can achieve income parity with men: earn it or handicap men by using the law to advantage women. Through laws and threats of government intervention, they coerce corporations to give preferential hiring to women, because few women are doing what it takes to earn it for themselves. Essentially, feminists are demanding and getting superior rights for women to compensate for the superior economic performance of men. In their arrogance, they demand that men work harder to provide parity for women. Anyone acknowledging the truth of the nature of inequality, however, should not be surprised by the increased incidence of rape, suicide, and violence in our society such policies cause. Violating men's rights to get economic equality cannot help but create a backlash. Note, remember I wrote this in 1992, and some idiots and imbeciles have accused me of justifying rape because men feel they're getting a raw deal. What a crock! Continuing, a double standard is precisely what they want. Quote, women admit to having a double standard, to wanting equality in employment and pay along with privilege in social status, close quote. Tara Roth-Madden, Women versus Women. In the feminist view, need is a moral imperative. That is, a person's rights are determined by their needs. Consequently, as they claim women's needs are greater than men's, women's rights should have the higher priority because, as second-wave feminist Carol Gilligan put it, quote, everybody has the right to live, close quote. The idea of a right to live, as feminists use it, presumes a right to consume. A right to consume requires that others provide what will be consumed. Now, certainly, everybody has the right to not be killed, but a person who is forced to work in service to others' right to consume is a slave. Thus, their ethic is slavery, and in practice that means male slavery. We are all aware of millions of others who need our help, and most of us wish we could help them all. But if we treated their needs like rights, we would expend ourselves trying to satisfy them. Our own needs would go unfulfilled. So we need some means by which to narrow the field down, something not too arbitrary, something that violates neither our sense of justice nor the principle of equal rights. Political attempts to create equal opportunity always rely on, quote, worsening the situations of those more favored with opportunity, close quote. That was Robert Nozick. Since such action is, by nature, aggression, and since feminists say they oppose acts of aggression, they should oppose this and favor a system that would be fair. In Anarchy, State, and Utopia, Robert Nozick provides a concept of justice that would satisfy this. He sums it up as, quote, from each as they choose to each as they are chosen, close quote. Basically, this is a hands-off concept. You get what you earn or are given, period. Feminists are sure to balk at this, but we have already exposed how their arguments rely on some presumed right to enslave men. Nozick's idea, however, rests upon the principles of non-aggression and readily lends itself to a concept of justice as fairness. Quote, social and economic inequalities are to be arranged so that they are both A, reasonably expected to be to everyone's advantage, and B, attached to positions and offices open to all, close quote. That was from John Rawls, A Theory of Justice. Cutting through the academic jargon, what this means to us is power and wealth are justified only if they contribute to or do not harm the common good, and if there are no unfair obstacles barring the rest of us from earning equal power and wealth. This can be paraphrased as, quote, you get what you earn or are given, and that's okay if what you get or earn either benefits or does not harm the common good, and if all of us can aspire without prejudice to earn or receive the same, close quote. This is utterly fair, producing hierarchies without enslavement and providing equal advantages without diminishing our inherent inequalities. But we're socialist beings with an inherited history that imposes structural inequalities upon us that are neither just nor fair. Legislation to remedy these rely on forcible expropriation and redistribution of wealth and opportunity. A group can justify such an action only if it can prove unique victimization of its members warrants it. That is precisely what feminists are successfully doing by portraying men as more violent than they are, and women as more oppressed than men are. To do this, they rely upon the effects of choices women make without considering the choices or who makes them. They point to the preponderance of low-paying jobs women hold and expect us to ignore the general inclination of women to make their job selections on the basis of personal needs, rather than just on income. By predefining this inequality as the result of male oppression of women, feminists make the enactment of legislation to empower women at the expense of men a moral and social imperative. That's unjustified. Again, we do not live within a historical vacuum, and if there is any true gender equality, it is that our common history imposes structural inequalities upon both genders that are neither fair nor just. Quote, feminists are demanding 51% representation in such areas of our society as politics, law, medicine, and business administration, but regardless of how close they come to attaining that, virtually 100% of the cattle butchering, grave digging, sewer cleaning, and garbage collecting that is so critical to that society will continue to be done by men. So will almost every other back-breaking, marrow-freezing, stomach-turning job, close quote. C.H. Friedemann, Manhood Redo, Standing Up to Feminism. Great book. To expropriate the money and opportunities men earn and then redistribute them to women is to install women as the dominant sex. This is not equality, but the epitome of female chauvinism. 2015, Olympia, Washington. You know what I'm going to say. MGTOW is the solution. That's all for now. Check out the other videos. Subscribe to the channel for the Backlash at backlash.com. My name is Rod Van Mechelen.